Alright guys, I have what I believe is a real treat for you today. I'm in Bartow, which is like a hop, skip, and a jump down the road from where I live. Not even that, just a hop and skip. I'm so close. My kids actually go to school in Bartow, or at least one of them still does. But anyway, I'm going to show you an iconic piece of movie history. This is the My Girl house, and if you remember this movie, it was made back in 1991. It starred Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis, Macaulay Culkin, and Anna Chlumsky. And I've got somewhat of a story behind it. Now, I was never particularly a big fan of the movie myself, but it's kind of cool. What I'm going to tell you is kind of neat. This is a beautiful house. It's just a shadow of what it used to be, its former self, and really just more of a shell, more than anything else, because this is pretty much gutted. It's being redone now. Someone else has bought it. It served as a bed and breakfast for many years, and well, here's my story behind it. Okay, I mean, this is pretty. So you probably recognize it, right? Okay, everything's pretty much the same all the way down to the cracks in the sidewalk and the steps, everything. So if you might be a big fan of it. Maybe you've never seen it. Maybe you need to go back and watch it. So anyway, here's the story I've got to tell you about this. So this movie was made in 1991, and I was working for my oldest brother in 1995. About 4 years later, and he did the landscaping for the guy that owned this house. All right, he owned the landscaping for the guy that did this house, or who owned this house, and it was a bed and breakfast during that time. Likewise, it was very, very well taken care of. It was absolutely immaculate inside and out. So when we would come over here to mow the yard, we get invited. I remember being invited inside at least once, but I was able to go inside and see. It was just absolutely gorgeous. What's funny is, so over here is a swimming pool. So when my brother and I pulled up, he had his trailer with his equipment on the back. We would pull up over here to the left side of the house. I'm gonna turn this camera around now. And back during that time, there was a fence around this pool area. Okay, there was a fence all around the pool area, but it was much more weather beaten than it is now. So we would pull over here onto this street, and there was lots and lots of trees to where you couldn't see inside the pool area unless you really, really tried. I mean, you had to be really scoping things out. So what I would do is I'd get out of the car over here and I'd peer over the fence right here to make sure there was nobody in here, because that was the first place we were going to do. It was really decorated up inside there, really well taken care of. And I'd come over here and I would stand on this right here. I'd put my foot right there, and I'd peer over the fence, and I remember the fence being probably a little bit shorter, look into the pool area, and that way I knew I could just go straight in. I knew I could go straight into this pool area and start mowing. But that day, this one particular day, I looked over the fence, and there was 2 topless women in here. And so yeah, my day got started right. They didn't seem to mind too much. They did leave, but anyway, that's what happened that day. So we did the yard. We went inside, and the guy, his name was Freddie. He owned this, and we went inside and talked to him. And had something to drink to cool us off. Of course, they're doing a lot of work here. I'll explain that in a minute. And now there's a helicopter flying over. It's always gonna be something interrupting my videos. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, it's up there. Well, anyway, so we'd go inside, and he would give us something to drink. And out walked this man in a bathrobe that I recognized. And you wouldn't believe it. If you watched TV back in the 90s, late at night or whatever, you would remember this guy. His name was Gary Spivey. He was like a psychic or spiritualist, right? So he was always kind of weird. Like, he had that big helmet hair, the white hair, obviously a wig. But you were never quite sure, but it was just so odd looking, And he walks out, and he's got this ginormous cat, a cat bigger than I've ever seen up to that point, and even till now. I've never seen a cat this big. In fact, I was scared of it because it looked like it was just short of being a lion. It was inside the house, and I was just like, I dropped my jaw because I was like, I can't believe this cat's so big. Well, it was him, Gary Spivey. At least I think that's what his name was. If I'm not correct, I'll put it on the screen. But anyway, so he was nice, I guess. I mean, I didn't have a problem with him or anything, but it was just odd that this guy I see on television almost every night of the week, real late at night, was standing right here in front of me. And then, I guess a lot of celebrities used to come here and use the services of this bed and breakfast. So that was kind of cool. So I guess the guy who owned the place told me that downtown Julie Brown had been there like the week before. I don't know if you remember who downtown Julie Brown is. And he named out some other people that I knew, but those are the two I remember right at the top of my head. So anyway, so my brother, he actually helped do some stuff when Hollywood came calling and wanted to use this house. So, these celebrities were in the area. I don't think he got to meet them, but what these studios were requiring was that all the furniture in the house had to be moved from downstairs upstairs, and they were going to put in their own stuff. So my brother helped move all the stuff from downstairs upstairs. And then he was able to go to the studio in Orlando because that's where they set up they just use this as the outside shot. But he got to go to the studio and look at that. And he said the house they built in that studio looked exactly like this one, inside and out. Because when they came to this house right here, they took pictures. They took pictures from the inside looking out, and they reproduced it on the stage in there. And he goes, when you stood inside the house on the stage, you couldn't tell the difference between standing here and standing on that set. That was really neat. They also filmed part of China Moon here in Bartow, which had Ed Harris and Madeline Stowe in it. They also filmed part of that in Lakeland, likewise. But so he helped him with that. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think he did meet Ed Harris at that time. I thought he had met Macaulay Culkin, but he told me later on that no, he had not met him. But nevertheless, I mean, he came pretty close, and so that's my little story. It's a little story, but it's a story that I have connected to the My Girl house. The colors were much more vivid back then. The Florida sun has made the colors kind of dissipate a little bit. It was, like I said, it was in pristine condition at that time. I think they're restoring it now. I was told, let me go back around here. I was told that by somebody I ran into at a Publix supermarket who's connected to the remodeling of this, that this is being turned into what they call the Hope House, where young women who are pregnant but are unable to live unassisted financially and are considering abortion, this is going to be an alternative for them so that they do not have to do that. And I think that's kind of ironic, that it's for these young women, and it was also the My Girl house. So the property is not real huge. There is a lot going on with it. I hope they keep it looking the same. I hope they do not take anything away from it. I would love to see it keep its colors. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. That was the extent of my conversation with that person. But yeah, that's the My Girl house. I also have a story about Edward Scissorhands. Now there's a helicopter again. Let's see if I can. That was filmed in Lakeland, and I was actually on a set for a whole day, and got to meet Tim Burton. And well, I'll keep that story for later. That's probably an even better story. But yeah, I have been inside this house in its heyday when it was really, really something. And I just hope that it gets restored to its previous luster. It's kind of weird seeing that pool area without all the foliage around it. But I will remember looking over that fence that day and feeling pretty good about things. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you liked the video. I hope you hit the like button. That's what I mean to say. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll try to make more of these. If you have any questions, let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to get back. It's a weird time of the day to be making this video, the way the sun is setting and everything. I don't know if it's going to get blown out, you know. Hopefully it's not too bright. But that's the story. That's the scoop. And I'm going to get going now. All right, guys. Have a great day. I'll catch you in the next one.